Hello there, everybody. Welcome to... I don't know why I did that with my arms. That's all a bit weird. I'm sorry, Trajan. You already look a bit disappointed with me. Week 2, Episode 2 of the Verdant NLC Div 2 Aftershow. My name is Middlecott, joined by a very exasperated-looking Trajan. How you doing, buddy?
I'm just recovering after witnessing the majesty that is Monster Rugby Gaming's Stumpy. Honestly, that's what I'm just recovering from still. I've taken a hot 20 minutes and I'm not ready yet. I think we need to give it another half an hour on the timer because...
Yeah, all right then. All right then. Yeah, not quite 20 minutes, but it was a little bit more time to collect yourself.
We're
CJ,
good. We're good now. We're good. We're good.
If you've not seen this show before, this is basically a bit more of an irreverent take on the week's NLC Div 2 action. Every week going to be here on the Verdant channel. We just have a little bit of a natter about League of Legends, the games that have happened, hopefully. Looking forward into the future. Have a chat with special guests, play some minigames. Basically, a whole bunch of dumb stuff that for some reason you're watching right now, and it's going to be a good one.
It always is a good one, mate. As I said in my tweet, mate, this is my happy place. This is where I come to understand and enjoy UK and Nordic League of Legends in a fun, safe place environment. This is the dream for me, okay?
And I think enjoying is a pretty good word for us right now at Verdant because...
Yeah. Yes, of course.
Despite everything, we've won a game! Which...
A dub. A dub. One dub. We take it. We get it. And we bank it here at Verdant.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
and... against Orbe.
Against Orbe, who were other sort of last place team.
Yeah.
It's a start.
It is.
And I think that's the most important thing. The first win is the most difficult, unless like you've already won like in Div in like week 1, in which case like apparently it wasn't that difficult. Like I can't imagine natives are going, oh, it's really difficult to win games right now when they're sat 4-0. But like the first one is always going to be a confidence booster, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely is. I mean, even against, Orbe, in their last game, I remember on Tuesday, they actually did not look bad at all. Gunkus was having a bit of a nightmare up in the top lane, but the rest of the map was surprisingly fine. And, if top lane had maybe gone a different way, you could see that being Orbe's first win. And they would be 1-3 right now.
What was the... It wasn't good.
Gunkus's one.
I can remember it. I can remember it wasn't...
It was 1 or 2-9 at one point. On the Gwen. I'm
gonna look. I don't want to clown on them too hard.
I unironically love Gunkus. I am maybe the biggest Gunkus fan in the league at this point.
What is it about you that draws you to Gunkus? 3-13, by the way, is the actual result.
It's mostly his name. I'm gonna be honest. I love to say it, and to be honest, even today. On the Mundo, Gunkus had his moments, all right? It was still a rough game, and Verdant did look somewhat closer to the Verdant than maybe we'd have expected to see early on. And, if at the start of the season, if game 1 was Verdant v Orbe, we would have expected a similar level of dub to come out. Maybe even a better dub to come out.
A better dub.
A cleaner dub.
Because it was a close one. Like it's really easy to talk about winning our first game and getting that on the board. 38 minutes versus Orbe, I don't think is quite where we would have expected ourselves to be at the start of the split. But hey, Valkyrie, Keys, and Draconium all went deathless. Winter did die 7 times, but like
going deathless in 38 minutes. Especially like for Valkyrie as Aatrox, like that is impressive.
It is.
Valkyrie, that was like the wake up game for Valkyrie.
Is it worth 2 wins?
I mean, you can message the NLC admins and be like, okay, but this dub was really poggers, so maybe you could just bump us up, give us like an extra credit, give us like 1.1, you know? So in a tiebreaker scenario, we automatically win. That would be good.
I'm sorry. It just sounds like it It just sounds like a 30-year-old man or something. You're not 30, you're not that old, but trying to
I'm getting there, dude. I'm closer to 30 than 20, and I don't want to be reminded of that.
Hey guys, this dub was poggers.
This dub was super poggers.
Yeah. That's like one of the people at E3 when they get up on the stage and they're trying to relate to all like the sort of like the teens, the young adults like watching, and then they remember that they're like 45.
Yeah, like wait, this is not gonna happen. I'm too indexed into the youth pastor zone right here. This is not where I want to be.
Oh, we used to have a youth pastor that would come to my school, and not gonna lie, those assemblies were banging. Like we were just like
they were the best ones.
There was like straight Jesus tunes just being like banged out.
Yeah, he gets the chair, he sits on it backwards, and he goes, "All right, guys." Passing your exams.
You've got like the acoustic guitar that has like the weird like strap on it. That's not like bro.
So, taking drugs is
no bueno.
Is taking drugs is sad, all right? But anyway. So I like Gunkus, all right? Yes. And I think that there is room for Gunkus to improve. And Orbe have shown that they have something. I'm not quite sure what it is, but they have something. And I wouldn't be surprised if they pick up more than one win, given, how hard they have to make better teams work. I feel like there are some
backhanded compliments here, CJ.
I mean, I do what I can for the 0-4 team. Now the only winless team, now that Verdant has finally scrabbled their way off the bottom of the pile. Okay. There, I'm sharing the hatred now a bit more. We're being even-handed across everyone.
I didn't realize it was hatred. I thought it was just like some general
the BM. Banter. We'll just call it BM.
I like the. I'd be very impressed if someone could develop an intense hatred of any of the Div 2
of an esports team. Yeah, that's like.
So, I can understand if someone's being like genuinely, an organization is being genuinely scummy. Like we've had a few of those in the UK scene over the years.
We've seen it. We've seen some stuff over the years.
But always with that sort of stuff, it never feels like it's as like fan driven, like because one of the things that you see with a lot of orgs that are like right on top of the pile is that fans will have a lot of opinions about them, but generally from what I've seen in the sort of like NLC Div 2 level, you either know it because someone's told it to you, who probably shouldn't have, or you don't have any opinions at all.
Yeah, the leaks are strong in this one for sure. And I think there is a bit of a sense when you just like, you can tell that they didn't write that line they just posted. Someone wrote it to them and they were just copying it through and they're like, oh, good job, man. What a stance. You're so brave. Wow.
Just roast. Like, I feel like we're just like subtweeting people, but I don't even know who I'm subtweeting.
I know. You shouldn't have brought me on here. I've been festering over the off-season.
Right, we've actually got a question in chat.
Wow.
CJ, a real question from a real person. Tom Kick, coach for Singularity? No, Riddle. Get confused by green Div 1 teams. Domino. Honestly, I don't have any thoughts about Domino at all.
You completely nondescript on Domino. I feel like Domino. I don't know what to think. If they do another week of this, we will not be able to ignore Domino anymore. Because I feel like everyone has just been like, Domino? Who? What a silly logo. There's not even a people on it. And then, I mean, by people, I mean you specifically. And then, generally speaking, that no one really knew what to think of this team. They weren't like Orbe, like, who is this? Like, we don't trust these players. Or they weren't like Verdant. They weren't like natives, like, oh, this is Div 1 ready, whatever. They were just like, they're in the middle. There's no
also here.
Star. There were a couple of specific people who were like, this player is actually amazing. And everyone was like, really? Okay, question mark. But now, with the performance they're putting on, I think, like I say, if another week of this goes by, we're going to have to take a real look at Domino and go, hang on, why is this working? This is actually not as bad, you know?
Well, so I think that there were some people that were fairly hot on, like, not like necessarily hot on Domino, but like some individual players on there. I know people were sort of bigging up Shaolin a lot. I think that maybe he's underperformed slightly, at least in my opinion, based on the expectations that people had of him. But they've beaten... I'm trying to remember who they've beaten. They've beaten Flung and us. Which
let's see.
is not. I mean, like, fair play, beating us, like, good job, but like, it's not.
I mean, everyone's done that, you know.
Right,
it's kind of just like a given.
Okay, no, so they lost to Flung, they beat Verdant, and then this week ahead they lost to Natives, and they beat London United.
Beat London.
So honestly, what that says to me is this is a very middle of the pack team. I don't know why you're talking about people need to stop ignoring them. Like,
I mean, it's. I guess, yeah. They've lost. It depends where people see Flung, right? Because Flung and Domino are also 2 and 3. They lost to
like
Natives.
A complete mystery to me. Like,
they lost to Natives, and it's like whatever, right?
Yeah.
But they beat London, who have been question marked at this point, and then they beat Verdant, which at least up to this stage are still question marked at this point. So I feel like they've. I guess you're right. They are kind of settling to the middle pack. Them versus Lundqvist and Munster is going to be very interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because Munster, they won today, but you know, if you watch the last like 3 minutes of the game, they won. If you watch the rest of the game, they lost.
If you take Stumpy out of that, then they're not.
Yeah, you take Stumpy out of the equation. You put someone
I don't understand
like
how
Lundorf in there. You don't get the win. So
whoa. Hold on. I think if you've got Lundorf there, I don't think that you're picking Malphite, and I don't think the game's getting to that point, to be perfectly honest.
I don't know if that's the same scenario.
Like, he's a good player. He's a good player.
Yeah.
But there's different things going on there. But
so for Domino next week, in this hypothetical, we see them next week, right? They have a match against Munster, and they have a match against Orglis. I think if they beat both of them, then we have to...
Yeah.
Then we could take another look. Maybe they lose to Munster, maybe they beat Orglis, and maybe they do just keep 50-50ing the whole thing, and perhaps there's nothing more to be read into there. But I feel like that besides being ignored, or like besides being middle of the pack, they were completely like no one has any thoughts.
I think we're still in this place where after 2 weeks of competition where we can see who the strong teams are, we can see who maybe sort of like the weaker teams are, but there hasn't been the level of stratification in the standings for us to really see who's super strong. Like, maybe like Lightside like lose both their games next week, and we don't, and they're lower down than maybe we had them before. Maybe they win both and they're right at the top. Like, there's still plenty of opportunities for people to move around and drop down and go up at the same time. I do think the Domino are actually going to be quite interesting for that one, because they are, at least in my mind, the middle of the pack team right now. In terms
like
of the level
slap bang the waterline right there.
I think Flung are like also in there, but the thing to be about Flung is that their highs are incredible. Like if Vangsted's popping off, if Guffey and Rotebeng, I don't know how to say his name in Danish,
Rotebengi or something of that nature.
Whatever. If they're all on, this team is like insane. Like the Vangadiff is real, but if the Vangadiff is the only thing going well for them, then the Vangadiff starts to overforce, and the Vangadiff starts coming back in the opposite direction, and you're like, doesn't feel as good. There is a team. There's a team that we haven't actually talked about yet. I think we have touched on actually everyone except for this next team. And I think, no surprises, that's because we've got a guest on, and that certain guest is Mr. Gleadyy. Welcome to the stream, mate.
How diddly do?
How diddly
doing you? Well, obviously, I just got to say to you, commiserations. Obviously, really, really tough loss today. It's really got to be hurting the players. So, have the wheels all come off the Lucent train now?
Yeah, it's over. We're done.
It's a very swift trip to 3 and 15. Yeah,
we're done. Yeah. Straight down that road. Been there, done that. So hopefully it's a nice, lovely 17-1.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
long way away.
You've still got a Verdant win in the cards, surely, right? Further down the line.
Right. CJ, man, I thought you were in my corner. What's going on here?
What made you think that? At what point did you ever think I'd be on your side, Middlecott?
That's just cruel, man. Yeah. Gleadyy. We were having a little bit of a chat sort of before we got going with the stream, and I think that, well, certainly myself, maybe yourself as well, didn't necessarily expect you guys to be sort of second in the table at the end of week 2.
No, I think if you probably sat me down at the start of the season, I'd have taken 2 and 2. I think bringing Josh in, I think Josh has been an amazing asset to the team.
Previous,
yeah, 100%. I think if I'm surprised that he got through sort of to the position that he was at the end of the season to not have an offer. And then the one that he did get, I'll let Josh tell that story one day.
Yeah. It's a banger.
It blows my mind what I witnessed in terms of how we then got him. But yeah, no, I think Josh is not to mention the lads. I think these are, other than sort of a select few from last split, these lads are the first set of like full 5 that they're there 15-20 minutes beforehand. They're all solo queuing, all there for scrims, all turned on, and then Josh or Killy can provide a lovely PowerPoint presentation and sit there and have to watch, bless them. And I'm sat there in solo queue losing my mind while I watch scrims. I get to watch them win and then me like lose, and then it's just like I just sit there and burn an house. It's fine. It's fine.
Well, I mean, as an owner, you'd rather have it that way than the other way around.
Oh, 100%, without a doubt.
But yeah, for Lucent, it was a bit of a. Well, I think for a lot of teams, it was a bit of a strange path to end up in Div 2. But I think for you guys, it was a little bit more unique than some of the other rosters. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think the way that I describe it to Ellis, one of the other lads with me, is this off-season we turned water very much into wine. We had a very rough calibration, finished, Div 4. I think we lost one game, and then there was a big like spout over who's moving where with Freaks for You.
Yeah.
But we sort of took that time to just let the water set. We've let the lads go, and obviously some of them have focused on their career now. And then obviously you see like Tom playing for London United. But we had conversations with Jamie, who ran the sort of Viperio 2 team, sort of brought him on, and it was we offered the 5 positions back to the lads that he brought with him as sort of a courtesy in that they've given us the opportunity. We'll grow from there. They sort of said we don't want to play, we're focusing on uni, etc. So it's like, great, we've got a clean slate, we've got an analyst, so we don't have to search for that position. And then sort of we got linked up with Ape, who got Div 2, and I think they lost out on a potential like final spot for Div 1 over a game against London Esports, who then used them Voxnate at the time. So it was like they got an absolute kick in the teeth.
Yeah.
With that.
He's and quite good at AD carry.
Yeah, he's all right.
A little bit nice. Yeah.
Mad Lions Madrid now, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Don't know how they're doing, but that's a pretty nice.
It's a bit of a step up from the UKLC, I guess.
Getting some dubs over there, I think.
I mean, it was criminal that he was playing in UKLC regardless. Like that was
nice little paycheck, maybe.
UK scene flooded with cash, I heard.
100%. Yeah. A grand total of 2 teams. But yeah, we picked them up. Obviously, we originally offered the spot to 3 of them, but one of them stepped down and sort of just went, I'm not really feeling it this year. Yeah. And then sort of we are where we are now, 3-1, and sort of on the map in comparison to where I think people said that we would be in comparison to where we are now. So it's how we build on that week on week for us.
Pretty cool. That's that felt almost like CJ. That almost felt like this was a serious show for a second there. Like we interviewed the guest.
I wasn't really sure.
Yeah, I've got Sammy in my DM shooting me.
I wasn't really sure how to feel about that. I didn't really feel comfortable, honestly. It was a bit too serious.
It was a little bit too serious. Well, let's get to something a little bit less serious. The little thing that I've thrown up called Random Check.
No. He's whipped up some original content.
Always. So what we've got here, gents, if you should be able to see this on both of your screens.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I've done is I've used my extensive knowledge of how to type Leaguepedia into my search bar. to find out a little bit of info about some people involved in NLC Div 2, not just the players, but we might have some other people involved in the league in some other way. And what we're going to do is we've got 3 clues for each person. I'm going to ask each of you to try and guess who we're talking about. And if you don't guess who we're talking about, you've just random checked them, hence the name.
Sure. Who are you? Sorry. I'm sorry. No, sorry. Go ahead.
Right,
he literally plays for Lucent.
Gleadyy. So, little bit of pulling back the curtain here. Obviously, not that I didn't want you, but I was like, it'd be really cool if we can get a Lucent player on here, and then because I know Gleady's going to be watching, we'll maybe chuck in some. You do socials for UKEL, does some work for British esports, or just throw that in and see if the players are as updated on your career movings as they are their own. But regardless, we are going to kick it off here. We've got no buzzer system or anything, so I kind of just want just to have a little discussion.
Together on this?
Yeah, if you want.
We'll team up.
I mean,
all right.
I'm
fucking clueless.
I'll score you separately. So if anyone wants to throw someone under the bus,
to betray,
that's fine.
It's freest Trojans ever taken.
Obviously, if you're in chat, please don't spoil it. But yeah, right.
Send me a DM on Twitter, please.
We'll start.
I'm closing chat. I'm being really
with
legit.
our first contestant here, our first random, as it is for now. They made their competitive debut in the NLC Div 1 qualifier. And the second clue, they are a non-European player. And the third and final clue, it's likely that they could be a Lady Gaga fan.
So they're a non-European.
Oh,
is it?
I know it.
You know
Buzz.
it. You know it. You think
Fucking
you've
Buzz.
got it.
I've got this, Gleadyy. You want some assist here? Do you want the team? I'll give you the team.
Is it London United?
No, Orglis.
No, it's Orglis.
Oh, is it the jungler? Is it Born This Way?
This way.
It is Born This Way.
Where's he from?
He's from Malaysia. He's played a little bit in the uni scene, but as far as his Leaguepedia goes, AAB in the Div 1 Open qualifier was his first competitive team. Hence,
that's nice.
There, yeah. So we've got Born This Way,
and a standout on that team as well.
Yeah, I honestly, I've been really impressed with him. I think some of the rookies that we've had have maybe been a bit less impressive, but
we're missing half the clue.
Definitely belongs here. Oh no!
Middlecott.
Oh
no!
No!
Middlecott.
I've messed
up.
You've
got to justify your text, man.
I've messed up the scaling on it. That's
unbelievable.
Really awful. Right, let's try this. Can you see that now?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So this second person is the only representative from Portugal that we have seen on stream. They recently attended the Blast Full Finals, and they're not a player.
Give it to me. I'm here. I know it.
You know
I'm
this.
here for a dub again.
Gleady's got no idea.
It's talent, Gleadyy.
Who? I'm such a shit guest for this. Like you could have done like the tier list last week with me, and like
you've got a good balance here, Middlecott, because you've got me, and I feel somewhat obliged and want to watch like all of NLC, anything available. I'm a caster. I feel like I want to get like real finger on the pulse, and then you've got Gleadyy, who.
I watch every game, but I just don't pay attention.
Is also here.
You watch it.
No, only the game, not intermissions. Games only.
Well, I mean, this person has been involved on the game. Like this person has been in game, as it were, been active in that sense. Do you know what? Do you know what, Trajan? Just say it, man.
For you.
Just
it's
say it, man.
Arcarom, newly engaged Arcarom, NLC host. Claps in chat for newly engaged host Arcarom.
It's very, very cool. Very, very cool. Big congratulations to him.
Huge poggers.
Wouldn't have actually been on this, but he did do some casting for NLC Div 2. I think it was last week. I think it was on the very sort of first stream that they did for it. Attended Blast Premier Falls Final as the host there, and is from Portugal, and is the only Portuguese representative in the NLC Div 2 that I could find on Leaguepedia. So hey, if I knew some like hypey Portuguese thing, I'd say that now. Like whatever Polska Guram is for Portugal, that.
Whatever Polska Guram is for Portugal. Yeah. I'm sure they've got something.
They've got something. I can't remember the last time I thought about Portugal.
Wow. The last time I thought about Portugal was I want to go on holiday. Where should I go? Portugal was the answer.
Ooh. Well, because it's fairly temperate there, isn't it? But it's also got like a nice warmth and...
Yeah, and they also don't care about COVID because they need the tourism money, so...
Did you know that they have the same time zone as us?
Yes, it's also easy to plan for that reason.
Yes.
Now Gleady's coming in. Gleady's in with the trivia now. Here we go.
I actually told Saudi that he posted a graphic many moons ago with the wrong time zone. But yeah, random fact.
We'll have
Give
you
me some more
next...
randoms.
But
I'll message you once we're done. Like the content piece for next week is just going to be Portugal facts.
Oh yes. Jesus!
We're going to be clued in for that. Yeah.
All right. So number 3. This is a veteran player in the
I've already got a guess. Keep it going. Give us another one.
There's 5 Belong Arena clashes. And can you guess? Yeah. Actually, can you guess what the last clue is?
He's a Thresher TP.
1,000 years old.
Yeah, he's old.
Yeah. How do we get Gleadyy? Take it away. This is an easy one for you.
That's the boy Tom. Like, you can't be doing him like that.
He gets done like that on every Discord call and every stream he's ever been on.
Honestly, I'll speak for Tom. He is the hardest worker in the fucking world, and he is the testament to the one person that I was like, he's never going on my roster, never. D2, and then joined the team at D4 and literally just.
I was gonna say
the difference.
Yeah,
he's so good.
He's so good. Like
he genuinely is a player with an X factor. Very few players I can say at this level, especially, have been around long enough, or you've got enough data to say they have an X factor. But Divinus absolutely is one of them. D4 or not, sometimes he just wins you the whole game. And that is valuable, to say the least.
Well, I mean, he's not doing it at the moment because like London United are 1-3. But
you're not 1-3.
Right, glass houses over there at Middlecott does not want to be casting any stones.
Yeah, I'd like to cast something at some point.
I'm in a position of power at this point.
Yeah, I feel
Nordic region.
Can't talk about it. Can't talk about it. Right.
Pain.
And then 4th and finally, I can't actually remember who I put for this one.
Oh, delightful.
He doesn't even Middlecott forgot who the random was. Like, and he's random checked his own minigame at this point.
So I guess I forgot to do separate slides for this one. This person is Danish.
Harry Potter.
Previous played for Verdant and posts questionable videos on Twitter.
So questionable videos.
No. It's the top laner for natives.
Yes.
Loudorf.
Lundorf.
Close enough.
I'm English. The TikTok sensation Lundorf.
Yeah.
Questionable as they are, they're fire. I love Lundorf's Twitter feed.
I need a Harry Potter cosplay before we carry on.
He literally looks like
it's the glasses and the trim. It is literally just the glasses and the trim.
He is fitted up.
Not gonna lie, it's a pretty dead trim in my opinion. But I don't.
Mate, your hairline's about 6 inches back though, so you can't be talking about trims.
All right.
At least he's got a trim. Yeah.
Do you know what? It's not even the worst of it. It's actually really bad.
Yeah. Dude, you've only been casting for a year and you're already molding. You cannot take the stress. Surely.
Oh no, I actually haven't cut my hair since I started casting.
I'd recommend not cutting it because it won't grow back.
It very nearly didn't last time.
This is your last innings right here on this one.
Bold cut inbound.
God. There are some absolutely awful pictures on my Facebook of me going for a run, all sweaty, coming back with grade 1 hair. And do you know what? It's actually not a fit, unfortunately.
It's not. It's not pull-offable, sadly, at this stage.
Doesn't just work. But yeah, that's what we've got. I wasn't really keeping track of the scores, but it felt like CJ actually knew stuff about Div 2, and honestly, Gleadyy, this just felt like another example of an owner that isn't really involved with his team and doesn't actually understand the league that he's playing in.
Totally didn't team manage the whole team that we've just put together or anything. It's okay.
Like every player.
God,
It's all right, lads. Until we play again, I'll just remind you of Tuesday, called Tuesday Night on the Rift.
Oh, can we not? Can we not?
And it wasn't even like it was like a close affair. Do you know what I mean? It was just things happened. Do you know what I mean? Like
things. I cannot argue that things happened.
DT and mid laner, by the way.
Oh right.
Yeah.
I've got to protect syntax here. Like
you got to. That's
at least
fair enough.
he was only C tier on that list.
Was he only C tier?
Only C.
I need to check that then.
Yeah,
I need to move him
mid laner.
I need to move him down a
was
little bit
Erol.
there. I need to move him down. Yeah, C tier. No, sorry.
Erol was the D tier.
Oh yeah, that was Krungle just went. Yeah, Erol D tier.
Nah. Yeah. To be fair, we all saw the Karthus today. That, to be honest, for the first 15 minutes, nice, great. The rest of it,
but that's the thing. That's the thing with Karthus versus Corki. Like, and this is my own opinion. Definitely not Torox. You just get outraged when you get.
Yeah.
I swear,
work.
I swear, like at some point that guy's just gonna start jumping into Discord calls, like with all the different coaches playing in Div 2, and just start whispering to them, like, yeah, I think Trundle's a really good pick here. Yeah.
Please improve the quality of this region. Please, do not draft that.
Guys on a crusade, like, not gonna lie, guys on an absolute crusade.
Yeah. But it's as Corki counters go, I think in a different time.
It's Syndra, by the way. It's Syndra, by the way. Just to let you know about Tuesday again.
Oh, it's Syndra. That's happening. It's coming.
No, it already came.
It's already happened. It's already happened. It came. It saw, and it conquered. What have you been thinking actually about the games that we've seen so far this split, Gleadyy? What's your take been on them?
I take the approach of the improvement from UKLC, right? We've seen the clear bump in views as an average. I mean, first week. I think this week's been a bit weak, right? But when you look at overall production, a lot better. It's not as scrappy. I would like to see sort of a continuous line between Div 1 and Div 2, but I also understand it's a bit unrealistic. But I think as a general, it's more competitive than last season. I mean, we were getting bad at this point and we were 0-4, but across the board, I think there's only one punching bag this division, whereas in the UKLC last split we had two.
It's not us. We're not a punching bag.
You would have been if you'd have got beat, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we would have.
And I think you'd have accepted that one as well at that point.
Yeah, do you know what? Like, we're here for content. Like, winning.
Even punching bags sometimes knock the boxer over, one time out of a.
I do like that. You know when like people walk into like a gym, they try and what's the thing that you like that on? What is that?
I know what you mean.
I can't.
It's like the little.
We're not going to describe it as to what it definitely looks like, but we all know.
Just a singular ball sack.
Okay, I mean, it's out there now. So yes, we'll go to the hanging ball sack. That's what you meant.
But yeah, that's what.
Yes.
I'm gonna say this, but I say A B because that's literally how it is.
Right.
I'm gonna say so, and I do think that there's a potential for them to genuinely go 0-18. As much as natives are going, we're going to go 18-0. I do think there's possibility. I say this now. If someone clips this, I guarantee in 3 weeks' time when we play them again, we're going to get beat. We're going to get beat
for their benefit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Making it competitive. Do you know what I mean? Like we can't.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's one of them. Did I not at some point read that they charged people to be part of their roster? At some point?
So that is like that's a different setup. So I want to clear this because I've heard a couple of people say this. Yeah. The way that the Orbe Esports Club like works is that they've got a load of facilities and then you pay to play at those facilities. It's kind of like an internet cafe.
Like a Belong.
Like a Belong sort of style deal, except they also enter teams into tournaments. But because they offer coaching and stuff, there is like a pay-to-play thing.
All right,
there.
fair enough. Fair enough then.
These guys aren't paying to play, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
Be saving my money if I was.
That's not. That's not the way the ecosystem should run.
Yeah.
Well, very true.
But that's just what I've heard. So yeah. But I kind of feel obliged to disagree with you on that, and I think we'll actually pull up the sort of like today's results and then the stuff looking forward to next week. Gleadyy, if you care to sort of like talk us through this, I'm not actually convinced that Orbe are going to go 0-18.
Me neither.
Because I feel like their game against us was close. That doesn't make me particularly happy, and I'd like to think that we're going to beat them next time around. I think that versus Flung, they were they were actually pretty close at points, and I think Flung has looked a little bit sloppy when Vangsted isn't popping off. So I could see them taking a scalp off someone like they're playing London United next week.
Yeah.
I think that's reasonable. Maybe a Domino or an Auglis, or definitely I would be surprised to see someone like Natives or yourselves or Lightside lose to them. But I think one of the teams that is sort of on the bottom half, I definitely think they can get a scrap against them.
Yeah, they can get a scrappy game.
I think they have a. Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Gleadyy.
I was gonna say like, I still consider ourselves one of the like. I'll always consider ourselves, because I go off of sort of the monetary side. Like, I'll put ourselves in like the bottom half of the table. It's a big table now. Do you know what I mean? You could be mid-table at fifth.
Yeah,
but like I'd
not
still
the UKEL anymore.
No, not at all. But yeah, I'd still put ourselves in the bottom side, and I think our game was scrappy against them, sort of early to mid, and then it sort of took off.
I never thought I'd have a conversation with an Orgona where it's like, yeah, we're a bottom half team.
I've got to be realistic. Do you know what I mean?
Okay,
like,
yeah.
I go like, I'm in the loop. Do you know what I mean? I have conversations. I think the only out of every org that's involved in this, there's only two that I've never had a sort of a definite conversation with about what they're doing. And it's one of them where like I sort of just slot ourselves in. But it's not necessarily. I think it's not necessarily how much you pay for a talent, right? I think it's what the saying's like. Hard work beats talent that doesn't work.
Yeah,
that doesn't work hard, and that's sort of one thing that we'll put forward. And I think it's sort of proven that we're very much a stepping stone. And I think if you sat and asked any one of the three other lads that I work with that do it, they'll agree. And I think obviously your biggest testament is if you sit and speak to Mitch, who's in chat, he went from us to X7 to then GLL on a full-time basis, and that's the outlook that we have, and that's just realistic to sort of the money that comes in is from us, and that is how it works, sadly.
So I kind of want to push a little bit deeper on this. Do you think that there are some organizations around Div 2? I'm not asking you to sort of name names, but do you think that there are unrealistic expectations of what their brand and what their team and what their organization could achieve at the moment?
The thing with it is, I don't necessarily think that spending, like in this season at least, there is not, other than getting championship points or whatever they want to call it, is there any point in investing? Because as long as you avoid relegation, your next season's where you're going to fight to earn something, right? Yes, there's obviously, if you finish top 6 and then splash out next split and win the league, you're going to be in a very good position to go on to playoffs. And it's the conversation that I've had with Ellis. In Div 1, S&G, for example, they're getting smacked every week now. And it is how it is. S&G want out. It's quite clear and apparent that they don't want to be involved in league anymore. Fair enough. But that what I think it was 15k that was thrown about, that incentive. Imagine they've saved that incentive for next split to make a roster that will just prevail in terms of relegation.
Yeah.
And I've sort of said you don't need to spend all your money instantly. Like there is there is no point to spend a lot of cash, especially in this division and anything below it. If you're blowing money any lower than this, I think you're a little bit stupid, because realistically there is very little return of investment in here, and that's not necessarily just on Freaks View. I think I've had conversations with Sammy as well, and there's some orgs in this division that simply don't give a shit. I think in the UK, the biggest one that I'll point out is London, and Ollie will hate me for saying it. They create zero content. They'll post one graphic saying that they're playing, and there'll be nothing that comes off of the back of it. Teams that don't like losing, X7 didn't tweet out a losers graphic when they lost against Bifrost. There's loads of teams that don't do it, and you need to face value in that you lose a game. And the way that I'll describe it to any team that I have is Rome's not built in one day. And you need to take your loss in stride, and it's quite apparent X7 have a very good roster. Take the loss in stride, make some content, and have some fun off of the back of it, and which is why they've brought in Watkaya and Don J to have a laugh with it. But it's optimizing people that have that talent to do it, and I think Natives have a good opportunity with their top laner that does have a laugh with it, and it's one of them that we explain to people is if you make a platform on the side, your value in when you go to negotiations with your agent are twofold better. So Raisins, for example, quality player, huge stream on the side, so his value ultimately goes up instantly, which is and one of the reasons that people like Mitch started streaming is because he sat down and had a conversation with Ellis and got it sorted and went from there. And people love popping in and speaking to Mitch. Do you know what I mean? But it's just
it's nice. Like seeing whatever summoner name he's got this week.
I think there is certainly value as well to building an org where the identity is not just that they win, right? Because that's not sustainable. And you need to be able to build an org that has an identity and a community strong enough that even through losses, as you said, like people will still care and engage and enjoy and be a fan, because you're gonna go through the peaks and troughs just in the life of an org. I think you're absolutely right that you should be willing to like engage with the negatives as well as the positives and try and work that into just the experience of being a fan, I guess, that everyone knows that's going to happen, right? Everyone knows that you're going to lose at some point. That's why we rag on Middlecott every week and he takes it, because he knows that that's part of the journey, right?
Yeah.
And he deals with that very well. And then when everyone in the viewing party today got to witness Middlecott completely just popping off when they finally got the win, that was all the more, satisfying for us just being there as not even necessarily as fans, but just as members of a viewing party, because of that kind of feeling. And I think that is important. You
say satisfying. You say satisfying. Relief.
I'm trying to tiptoe around it. I'm trying to speak my way around the reality of what we know happened in that call, Middlecott. But I think that the important thing is the point is this, as Gleadyy was saying, you need to be able to engage with the negative side and be a fully complete, well-rounded community and a team that can deal with all the highs and lows of being a competitive, organization.
I'm not saying it's easy, right? Especially your example with X7, I think is probably a harder hitter, right? Someone that it's quite apparent that they've spent a fair bit of money on a roster. It's going to hurt when you lose, and it hurts if anyone that's competitive. It's going to hurt when you lose. But in this space, if you're not going to interact or you're not going to have a laugh with losing, you're not going to grow organically with having a fun. I mean, Ellis got in trouble from one of the orgs for going hard a little bit, and I say this as he's just typed in chat, but I do think people need to pull it out a little bit. You can splash money on these big rosters, especially in the second div, and you can splash money, but if you're not going to do anything on top of just playing the game on a Tuesday and a Thursday, you may as well just stop wasting your money and just get involved somewhere else that has a bigger operation on the side.
I think, that's one of the it's actually one of the things that people don't realize is that winning isn't a brand. Like going back a little bit to like what you said. So natives winning is actually counterproductive to what they want to do as a brand. If they really wanted to sort of like build their underdog story, they would lose more games.
We could just buy the membership as well.
Just sprint a bit more, guys. If you really want to build that, just like a little bit of.
Do you know what?
Tactical sprinting.
I wouldn't say that I'm glad that we've started the way that we have at Verdant. But it makes it a bit more interesting.
It provides a story. It provides a very good story.
And it means that you can sort of build that level of. There's something there. There's something there. There's something that you can actually grasp onto, and there's nothing more that I want than to see these guys just sort of like run through the rest of it, build up even more momentum, and then once we get to playoffs, we can sort of really start hitting home, and then we can have this whole thing of, wow, we had this rocky start where it just wasn't working. Like everyone was still like the players were still like fairly chill, but we just weren't getting like the wins on stage, even if scrims are going well. And then we've built throughout the split, and we've started getting these wins. We've started playing with a bit more of cohesion, a bit more of an understanding, and then hopefully gets us to the end of the season. We're in the final. Game 5 versus Lucent. Keys, my wrist hurts. Out of the shadows, Middlecott emerges, locks in Udyr, gets a pentakill, and we win the entire thing.
It's the natural conclusion to that arc, yeah. That is. Critics called it predictable, but
my bank account.
We all enjoyed it in the moment, for sure.
You can't write stories like that. We are getting along a little bit in the show, gentlemen. So before we wrap this one up, I kind of want to take a look at the games that we've got coming up next week. Mm-hmm. Any of these that particularly stick out for either of you gentlemen?
Domino Munster, for sure, and Domino Orglis, as we touched on before, just Domino, everything to do with Domino, so we can get an idea of what this team's actually like. And also Munster, given that, as we said, they're 3-1, but like, are they 3-1? Or are they 2-2 and Stumpy was also there? Are they 2-2 plus Stumpy? I don't know. I need some definition, because I feel like in their current state, Munster, I believe we have seen them against some top teams, right? We've seen them. They went down to natives. They beat London, and they beat Orglis, and they beat Lundqvist. So I would like to see them against people like Lucent. I'd like to see them against Domino to see if they are they actually number 2 behind natives. Are they just, did they have a rough game, or are they actually going to step up? I don't know. There's a lot of question marks around this middle of the pack, where there is just that 3-1-2-2 big old chunk that do seem to be very hard to split. So I think, Munster games and Domino games are the ones that I'm really going to be looking at, because Munster's other game is Lucent as well. That's also going to be very, very interesting. That's going to be a good one.
Gleadyy, how are you feeling about that one? I feel like we're sort of glossing over the sort of London United game a little bit right now. Maybe that's a potentially a bit easier for you guys, but how are you feeling about going up against Munster next week?
My little brother does socials for him, so I don't know, he's not allowed to talk shit for Munster, so I know full well that as soon as that game starts, I'm gonna be hammering home, because I know that he can't bite, so I've got like a free raid to have a little go. But
just punching bag him,
I don't know full well that if he bites, I'll just send Ender a message and be like, "What the fuck's this shit?" just play like a proper Karen. But no, I think it'll be a banger. I think that sort of that fixture sort of fits into sort of where the natives Lucent game was today, in terms of like standout game for the day, in my opinion. I think the game following will be quite good as well. Sort of see where you guys are at, because I'm pretty sure Lightside are 3-1 as well. So it'll be So by that point, it could be a position where both teams could be 3-3 by the end of the day.
I think we're actually in a pretty cool position in terms of the Verdant games, at least for next week, because obviously we got that first one against Flung, who have looked a little bit shaky at points. I think they're sat at 2-2, and then if we beat them, then we beat Lightside. We actually put ourselves in a pretty good position. Fingers crossed. But I feel like they should be good tests for the teams. We've got this first win out of the way. Stronger opposition, sort of like trying to continue to sort of build up that confidence and that level of play. Trajan, is there anything else aside from Domino that is screaming at you right now?
AAB natives. It's going to happen.
AAB natives. You reckon? You reckon that's where it happens?
I feel it in the water. You know, it's
Milo's shaking in his boots.
Milo is terrified.
Gunkus will rise.
Gwen's immune. Gwen is immune.
Gwen is immune.
Yeah,
Gunkus is Gwen.
Camille matchup coming in. Somehow, Gunkus's Gwen is the only Gwen that is not immune.
I mean, Ismundo was pretty
Ismundo
good.
was clean. He took that from game 1 of the split, though, didn't he? So we're making trends.
Making trends. No, indeed. Yeah. Well, gents, it has been absolutely lovely to chat with the both of you. Thank you very much, Gleadyy, for joining us. Anything that you want to shout out right now?
Not particularly.
Not particularly. Doesn't own an esports org. Isn't in any way affiliated with NLC Div 2.
Nothing to follow. No one.
Just turned up.
I'm in Div 4. I don't know what you're on about.
Yeah, random.
Damn.
Put him on next week's random checked or.
Oh, it's got to be there. Got to be there. Trajan, any last words from you, mate?
Not particularly, mate. It's always fun being on the after show with you. Anyone who wants to follow me can follow me at CJ_Trajan on Twitter. I will be casting certain things. I'm casting CB LOL English this weekend and potentially other things in the future. Keep an eye on it. It's going to happen. It's going to be Pog.
We're going to wish you the best of luck with those. Well, that's doing it for us here. I have been Middlecott. We'll see you next week.